extend a very warm welcome to you all on behalf of Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, who has clubbed all of us for the third day of 10-day national level FIP on research methodology. Today, I feel honored to have profound and illustrious personality with us, Honorable Resource Person Dr. Pushpender Kumar Sir. Dr. Pushpender Kumar Sir is an Associate Professor, Department of Commerce from Kirori College, University of Delhi. Sir has completed his PhD in Management Studies from University of Delhi and postdoc from Alliant International University, California, USA. He has 15 years of experience in teaching. He has many national and international publications to his credit. He is a member of International Working Group on Business Ethics and Education, School of Business and Economics Administration, Freie University, Berlin. He has earned that fellowship and Raman Fellowship. It's really an honor to have such a remarkable personality with us today. I would like to thank Sir for taking the time out of his busy schedule and marking this spectacular morning with his glorious presence with us. Now, on behalf of my college, I heartily welcome him and I request him to please enlighten us with his talk on problem identification and preparatory work in research methodology. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for kind words. Dr. Parveen Joshi, Prerna College, faculty members, scholars, students, and I can see approximately 56 other participants from other institutions. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today because when you think of research, I mean, it's not an easy job to do. Research is something which nowadays people feel it's all about statistics because it has become fashion that you put some statistical techniques in your research work and then you feel that okay, everything is done. But believe me, trust me, research in research statistical tools are just a tools. But before that, as a researcher, as a scholar, what you need to do, you need to understand what concept, what constructs, what variables you are talking about. And among them, more important is the concept of what issue you have raised, what issue you have been talking about, what solution you are providing with your research work. And this is very unfortunate. I have been noticing it in other part of country beside Delhi University that people they 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 involve themselves in process, but they forget about the objectives and the outcome and the output. So research is something, if you see UGC, ICSSR and other institution, now they have clearly given a very clear instructions that yes, whatever research you conduct, it should have some objective and more than the process work, process is important. What about the output? What about the outcome of research what you have been conducting? So today I welcome you all and what we will discuss today because generally what happens people comes to us with their questionnaire and they come with their data google form and say sir, these are our information, these are our data, could you please analyze it? It's not all about phd, believe me, it's not all about research. Research is more than that. And whenever we think of a research, first things comes in our mind, what should be the topic? So and how to identify problem, because today the main theme we have been discussing is that what should be the theme of your research, how to identify that theme, how to identify that problem. Is it that generally what happens, let me tell you frankly speaking, um, when I think of a research, as a researcher, as a scholar, what I do, I talk to my friends, I go to my supervisor and ask him or discuss with him, sir, I am interested in this particular topic because someone has referred this topic. Or many times you might have noticed, my dear participants, that your supervisor tell you that you should work on this particular topic. Let me see how many of you are with me. Am I right? You select your topic for your research the way we have been discussing, like supervisor is telling you something, your friends are telling you something, and you feel that, yeah, this should be the topic. Thank you very much. Let me see, we have 60 participants. Everybody, please do reply if you feel like this. Write why in your chat box. It will really give me some kind of understanding that you all are with me. Thank you, everybody. Please write yes in your chat box and let me see your reflection. What we have been discussing, is it clear to all of you or not? Thank you very much. I can see everybody needs to reply. I gave you just few seconds. Everybody, go ahead, everybody. Thank you, Ritu. Chandrasekhar, thank you. Go ahead, everybody. Sakshi, Vidya, Savita, Absha Khan, thank you very much. So this is the main concern nowadays, that whenever we talk about research work, believe me, research work is something which you need to, search again and again, as far as definition is concerned. But more than that, research should be linked with idea, or research should be linked with some problem. So that we're gonna discuss today. Before I move further, let me share my screen with all of you. What we will cover today, what points we will discuss. So let me put some light on that. Let me share my screen first. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, everybody. And here is my PPT for today. I believe it's visible to all of you. Let me make it big. Is it visible, everybody? I believe it's visible to all of you. Okay, so let me hide it. And this what we're gonna discuss today: uh, problem identification and preparatory work. So when we think of problem, because it's not always an idea which comes in your mind. More than an idea, what we need to do as a researcher, uh, let me put my photo beside this so that you can see all of you. Okay, I believe now I will be visible to all of you. Let me see. Just give me 1 minute, everybody. Link with this preparatory work. The 7 point I have mentioned. Is it clear to all of you? You can reply. I can open your, unmute your mic because I can't see your reflection. Okay, no problem. So we already have discussed how to select a topic. Second, now we are talking about preparatory work, and this preparatory work we have to talk about concept, constructs, variable, proposition, hypothesis, theory, models, and research questions. Let me come back to you. If you have really any question in your mind, you can ask. Yeah, any question in your mind, please reflect in your chat box related with these seven things I have mentioned in this PPT. Second point, Sakshi, which one? Okay, I will discuss one by one, don't worry. Okay, so let us continue what we have been talking about. So we have been talking about this, and so this we know what is research, so I'm not going to discuss it, right? I'm not going to discuss, just skip it. Social science, science, you all know everything about this. We are not into a natural science, physics, chemistry, geology, right? We are into a social science where we talk about people, we talk about individual, we talk about their preference, their opinion, their like, their dislike. We talk about society, we talk about individual, their behavior, right? And the most important thing, we want to understand their behavior, their psychology. So this is very tough job, believe me, this is very tough job. It's gonna be a very tough job. And we want to understand sociology in the terms that we want to see the society, what how do they do their routine work, what is something new which They know, we don't know, right? And we know economics. So this I'm going to skip quickly because I hope you are not interested in this. Okay, this is something which I have been talking about. You remember I had given one example of smoking, and the second variable in smoking was individual or student performance. So as a scholar, this chart reflect on your whole work. If you understand this, my 90% work is done. So something is called actual reality. And I don't know, we understand actual reality or not, because if you're not part of that society or that community or that house or that culture, then what you need to do, you need to presume it. So as a scholar, as a researcher, generally we presume the reality. Okay, you can see this dot arrow here. You can see what should be our role. We need to presume reality, and here there is something which is called the actual reality. I can give one example. I was in Germany and I visited a place, small place called Dresden, and there is a museum in Dresden, and one person who is showing us that museum in that Dresden city. Uh, he said, "Are you from India?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come, I wanted to show you something which is really of great interest to you." I said, "Okay." He said, "This is a one model which is made of gold." I said, "Gold?" He said, "Yes." And do you know, this is a model. It is reflecting a particular kingdom. I said, "Okay." So who is that king? So he asked me, "Who is that king? Do you know?" I said, "I don't know who is that king, but he said he is from India." I said, "Oh, really?" And in that model, what was going on, that person, the king, he used to celebrate his birthday for 10 or 12 days. And everybody, every king from different country, they used to come and used to give some kind of gift to that king. So he asked, "Do you know that who is that king?" I said, "I don't know who is that." So he said he was Aurangzeb. I said, "Okay, fine." So he said, "See this model, the king of Dresden, he wanted to go to India and he wanted to meet Aurangzeb, but unfortunately he couldn't go. But he got some perception about India. So he made this, he developed, he designed this model, and this model reflect on India, and this is the Indian kingdom, and India is Aurangzeb was the king." So I said, "Okay." So on the wall of this model, what was written? The language was Chinese language. So I said, in India we speak Hindi, right? We don't speak Chinese language. So he said that he presumed the reality. That was the actual reality in India. So he presumed that. Second problem was that everybody who came from outside and who brought gift to Aurangzeb, they were not showing face, they were showing their back. So I told him that in India it's a bad culture if you show your back, right? You cannot have eye to eye contact, but you cannot show your back. So he said that the king of Dresden, he felt that because Aurangzeb is a big king, so you cannot, have eye to eye contact, you cannot show your face, so that's why they were showing their back. Why I'm giving this example? Because whatever actual reality is there, as a scholar, as a Dresden king, we need to presume that would have been done in that particular situation, that would have been done in that particular issue or particular case study, right? So this is very important chart, please believe me. If you understand this, definitely. Now what you need to do, whatever reality you have presumed, you need to give logic for that. Now what is the logic? Let me tell you. Let me give you two examples. Let me come back to you, then we will talk about it. Do you know the concept of seat belt? Who invented seat belt? Anyone? Any idea who invented seat belt? So I'm giving that logical conjectures. Yes, anyone? Any idea who built, I mean, who invented seatbelt? Which company I'm talking about? You can reflect in your chat box, everybody. Any idea? Please reflect. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shant. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you very much. So, what would have been the main reason why did they invented it? Why did they invent it? Any reason? Any weird reason? The reason was why they invented this particular tool because casualty rate was very high in US, right? Safety was the one reason. So even US, California, they saw, I mean, government saw that lot of road accident, a lot of casualty due to road accident. So they, I mean, they talked to Volvo and Volvo came with this idea that's you need to use seat belt in your four-wheeler, right? Now they introduced this seat belt in a four-wheeler, all four-wheeler in US. Now tell me, what would have been uh, the 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 impact of seat belt in terms of casualty or road accidents, casualty or death? Can you give me just 1 minute, everybody? Just give me 1 minute. We can take 2 minute break. I can't just think about it and then we come back.
हेलो।
हाँ जी मैडम नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर, आपके पास कोई मैसेज तो नहीं आया स्कूल से?
नहीं मैडम अभी तो कोई नहीं आया, बताइए।
वो क्वेश्चन पेपर रेडी होगा बच्चे के?
वो तो हमने सबमिट भी कर दिए थे मैडम।
फॉरम सूर्या।
हाँ जी हाँ जी।
अच्छा अच्छा, सिद्धार्थ का है आपका, सॉरी, मैं नंदिया नेशनल वाले बच्चों को फोन कर,
जी
सॉरी
जी
सॉरी।
जी 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 जी।
ठीक है।
Okay everybody. So what? How do you see this? What is your perception? What would have happened to the casualty rate or a death rate? Thank you, Priju. Thank you very much. Reflect on your chat box, everybody. Let me see. Okay, thank you, Krishna. Thank you very much. So Krishna has mentioned it's gone down, it's decreasing. Thank you, everybody. Please reflect in your chat box. I can see 70 more than 75 participants right now. Thank you, Afsha Khan. Thank you very much. Go ahead, everybody. Sakshi, what would have been the impact of seat belt when they introduce? Okay, decrease the death rate or casualty. Thank you, Supriya. Everybody need to reflect. Everybody. Let me see if you are with me. Everybody, go ahead. No, security, that's okay. How do you see it? Whether the casualty rate has gone up or has come down? Reduced. Thank you, Ritu. Thank you very much. Down. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Reduce accident. Down. Come down. Come down. Great, Pooja. Thank you, Roshni. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Save lives. Thank you. Okay, great, 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 great. So this was the main motto. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. So this was the main motto of introducing a seat belt in four-wheeler, that casualty would be less, death rate would be less. My dear friends, this was our perception. And now I connect this perception. Let me continue with my presentation. I hope we were here. Um, we were here, right? But this was our presumed reality, that this would have happened, that casualty rate or death rate has come down, but this was not so. Can you believe it? The reality was something else, that the casualty and death rate after the introduction of seat belt has gone up. Why so? Do you know the reason? The reason was this: it's a human tendency. When you feel safe and secure, it's a human tendency you try to take more risk, right? Because now you're safe, you're secure. What you will do? Rash driving. And because of seat belt, what happened? There were more and more road accidents, more and more casualty, more and more death. And what is logical conjectures in this? Anyone? Let me see your response. Anyone? Yes. What was logic in this? Why people take more risk? So now you see the actual reality, presumed reality, and the logical conjecture. Logical conjectures was a theory. A theory developed over the period of time that it's a human tendency. It's a human tendency and a human belief that when you are safe and secure, it's a human tendency that you would like to take more risk, right? Yeah, so it give you some confidence. So it became a theory, and theory is called logical conjectures. It's called logical conjectures. So before you start your work, what you need to do? You need to identify these 3 points. Topic. Second, what? These all points we're gonna discuss. Presume reality. Third, this theory, logical conjectures. Okay, it's a human tendency. Human tendency, it depends on culture to culture, and it's a I give you another example, right? It could be a belief also. Uh, Sorry, I'm not. Let me see what you are writing. Okay, here I can see drive wearing seatbelt, feel more secure. Yeah, thank you very much. So, is it clear? It's a human tendency that when you are safe and secure, what do? You're ready to take more risk. Is it clear, everybody, with the answer logical conjectures, or should I give you another example? Another example. Thank you. So what we are doing actually, this is a preparatory work. Before actually you jump and start your writing thesis or a work or start your synopsis, this is something you know before you go for your research work, right? Let me give another example. There was another kind of theory. This is called a theory. I have 100 example of theory. Don't worry, I can continue with next 10 days. Another theory which is called placebo effects. Let me write in chat box. Placebo effects. What is this effect? This came from medical field, medical study. What happens in this experiment? A doctors gives a drug, and they give a fake drug or a sugar pill to a people, right? Madam, is it okay? Can I continue?
Yes, sir, not a problem. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So this came from medical field. What happened in this experiment? Doctor, they gave a drug, and they gave a fake drug or a sugar pill to people, and they want to see if the drug is working or not. So what happens when you visit doctor and doctor give you some kind of tablet or some kind of capsules? You trust, you have a trust in your doctor, you believe in your doctor, right? uh, if you give a drug or a sugar pill, right, to someone, and people, those who are taking this, they know nothing whether it's really a drug or a sugar pill. So what kind of effect it will be having? The people who get the drug expect to get better, and that effect of belief might be really strong, believe me. So belief matters here. So beside human tendency, here what is working? Human belief. It's everywhere, right? suppose someone gave you some kind of medicine and they say, so what will happen? It's the psychology behind it. There is a psychological something which is going on, and it has some impact on as a drug on your body. So this effect, this experiment is called placebo effect. Why? Because you believe in that, you have trust in that, and people may influence by expectation, and we need to manage them, their expectation, right? So this is all about expectation, this is all about belief. So because here social science is all about people, it's all about society, it's all about culture, it's all about community, right? Thank you VK Nikamji, thank you very much, you are with me. So now you understand what logic we have been talking about. So let me continue with my presentation. Is it clear? Logical conjectures, everybody say yes in your chat box. If not, I can give you another examples also. Okay, thank you very much. So do you know this logical conjectures? Do you know the reality, actual reality? Do you know the presumed reality? So this is what we have been talking about. It's a preparatory work. So let me continue. Okay, uh, let me continue with my screen. Okay. Now, this logical conjecture, this we need to measure, and for that we need to have research design. And research design, we will talk about research design, don't worry. What should be the justification of sample size, how to collect data, how to make your own questionnaire, or you need to take questionnaire from outside. Everything will come under research design, don't worry about it, we will discuss about it little bit. We will discuss about, let me go back, we will discuss about analysis also. So we'll come back to this again, right? Don't worry about it. Let me move further because we have very limited time. Okay, so I hope this theory is clear to all of you. I can take one more example if you wish, but in the meantime, don't worry, we will take one more example after some time about, we will talk about theory. So you know your actual reality, you presume actually your actual reality, and then you find out a logical conjecture that, okay, behind this kind of relationship, for example, smoking and securing good grades, there would be some theory, I don't know. Similarly, like here, there is a belief like in placebo effect, right? Human tendency, we talk about safety and security. So behind that, there was a theory. Let me give you one more example, right? How many of you have seen children playing cricket on a street? I hope you might have noticed, everybody, that when you go to playground or comes to street, you see a lot of students, lot of children, they are playing cricket. Now suppose I give you this situation, everybody. If I give you a situation where you need to observe them for next half an hour, for 30 minutes. What you need to observe, you need to observe actually in 30 minutes, effectively, how much time they spend in actually playing cricket. So guess, you might have observed this. I believe everybody, you might have observed children playing cricket on a street. So Ravi Verma said 20 minutes, actually out of 30 minutes they play. Really they play cricket, right? Others, what could you reflect in this chat box? What they do actually? Do they really play cricket only during that 30 minutes? Or out of 30 minutes, okay, VR Nikamji say 15 to 20 minutes they play cricket. Okay. Others, please reply, everybody. I can see in your chat box how much time really they spent in playing cricket out of 30 minutes. Okay. 10 to 12 minutes. Kritika, thank you very much. Gustav says 20 minutes. Everybody, 15 minutes. Rahul says, Prashant say 15 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes, 20, 15. Okay, fine. So when I observe, let me tell you my experience. When children play cricket, out of, I believe, 30 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes they actually play. Remaining 15 or 20 minutes, what they do? They play politics. Politics in what sense? Suppose I bring bat today, so I will say, this is my bat, so first turn would be mine. This is my ball, I brought this ball, so first turn would be mine, right? Who will play first? Who will bat first? And this and they waste their maximum time in telling other person that you are out. Instead of actually playing as a gentleman game, what they do a lot of other politics, lot of other things they do, right? This happens. Why this happens? Have you ever thought? Or is it happening in organization also? When you organize a meeting and guide them that this gonna be our next project, and who gonna take responsibility, what happens then? People talk about a lot of things, but nobody is ready to take responsibility. So this comes from that, game, from children, those who are playing game. What happens? Why they are not actually investing their 30 minutes in only playing cricket or a particular game? The reason is simple, that they want recognition in that team. They want that everybody should recognize me because this is my bat. It's a human tendency. Thank you very much, Ravi Ramji. It says social recognition you want when you are in team. Not only in among children, those who are playing on a street, even in an office. When you have a meeting, what do you want? You want a recognition. You want social recognition, right? So this is what is the solution? So there is a theory behind this, that whenever you work in a team, you lose your identity, and you don't want to lose identity. It's a human tendency. You want recognition. For that recognition, what is the solution? Solution is this. Thank you, Sakshi. Solution is this, that in a cricket, you need to give some kind of recognition to all members. For example, in cricket, you say that you are captain, you are vice captain, right? So different position you give to different players, and this kind of position help to recognize them in a different situation. Same thing happens, that who would be the leader in a team? So he is the leader, he's supposed to perform this, right? So this is a human tendency. So I can give a lot of example, but I hope these three examples are sufficient. Let me continue what we have been talking about. We were here, everybody, and this is what a theory, right? I'm not going to discuss much about it. So this is very important. When you start your work, when you start your thesis work, research work, dissertation, or writing article, you must know what theory you have been talking about, what logical conjecture you have been talking about. It will really help you, right? So I'm not going to discuss much here, a different perspective on theory. Now, different units of theory, right? Theory is something which may be applicable in different domain. For example, this human tendency of taking risk may be applicable in life insurance, medical insurance, or when driving a car. Before you start driving your car, fasten seat belt. So one theory may be applicable to different domain. So what you need to do, you need to understand your domain, your area of interest, and bring that theory within your domain. So now we got next for 45 minutes, I believe. Yeah, next for 45 minutes, we're gonna talk about domain, concepts, variables, definitional statement, premises, proposition, and hypothesis. Right? Okay. So what I'm going to do before I move further, let us take a 5-minute break. It will really help me to understand that you all are with me. Uh, Madam, how long we can continue? Can we continue for next 45 minutes or we have just 10 minutes to go?
No, no, so you can continue.
Okay. So we take 5 minutes break. Let me take some water. And what you need to do, I hope 3-4 points we have discussed. You all take 2-3 minutes break because when you think of learning should not be more than half an hour. Take a 5-minute break, then half an hour, take a 5-10 minute, then half an hour. We already have taken more than 1 hour. So let us take break for 5 minutes, then we come back and then we will talk about all this, right? So, okay. So very important thing, which is somewhere part of theory, because we have been talking about theory, and theory is all about human tendency, human belief, human culture. Um, so very important thing before you start writing your work, uh, which domain you have been talking about. For example, my domain is um, basically value system, or what you call ethics. So can I bring this kind of example, this kind of theory in my domain, which is basically values and ethics? So your area of domain may be anything. What you need to do, you find out the right kind of theory which is applicable, whatever logic you have developed, whatever logic you have seen in your research, right? Or before you see your own research, you need to find out what kind of theory has been proposed and bring that theory in your research, in your variables, in your constructs, right? So theory remain there, and it may be applicable to different, as I mentioned that when students or children, they are playing cricket, the same theory is applicable. And when you're sitting in a boardroom where we have a director, where we have, you know, a big kind of discussion is going on, board of directors are there also, what you need recognition, because it's all about human tendency. So you may have any domain, right? Maybe marketing, maybe finance, maybe any social domain. What you need to do, you need to find out the right kind of theory. Now let us move ahead. Very important thing, because uh, whenever we conduct a research, uh, we need to conduct a scientific research. Scientific research doesn't mean that you need to think about science. You need to think about research, but there should be a scientific way of conducting a research. What is that scientific way of conducting a research, and why I'm saying it's a scientific way? Because when you write your work, when you write your article, research work, it should be acceptable. It should be acceptable in international community. And international community, what they do, they follow scientific way of research. And what is that scientific way of research? I'm showing you that. So here you can see in this figure, there are two different labels. First is theoretical and another is empirical. Among you, 90% students, they collect data, they analyze data and test hypothesis, which comes under empirical one. And here you can see right side a deduction. You can see, I believe, the deduction part, hypothesis test. So 80 to 90% students, scholar like you, they have been into this kind of research. So before you write your hypothesis, right, before you test it, what you need to do, you need to reflect on theory, that this theory has been proposed. I am working on this theory, and from this theory, what I have done, I have driven this hypothesis, and I have designed this hypothesis. I am testing it, what you test actually, not only a hypothesis, you test theory also, whether this theory is applicable in my culture or not, right? Now, remaining 10 to 15% students, research scholars, they have been into the other part of research. Sorry, this loop is wrong. This loop should move from observation to theory, right? This loop, this left loop should come from observation to theory. So 10 to 15% student, they comes into induction kind of research, where what we do, we develop and design theory. So 90% student, what they do, they have been into empirical kind of research where we test the hypothesis or test the theory. 10 or 15% student, what they do, they observe lot of things and develop and design a theory. Developing and designing a theory is very risky, very difficult task. I mean, it's take long time. It's take long time. You cannot say that in 1 day or 1 year, 3 4 year, that you have designed and developed a theory, because that theory should be applicable in other country, in other places, in another community. Then you feel that okay, this was the theory, right? Now, why this theory is difficult to develop? The reason is, I don't know. In that, we need to understand human perception, human behavior, and believe me, it's not an easy job. It's a very difficult kind of job. So what do, you do a lot of case study, you do a lot of work. For example, one example could be violence on women. Now, can we easily define the term violence? It's very difficult task, right? Similarly, designing a theory, it's a very difficult task, right? So we will talk about this, don't worry. And here, inductive we already have discussed, deductive we have discussed, logical thing, don't worry about it. This you already know, because I hope yesterday professor has discussed with you this types of research. And I have been talking about violence, right? In violence is some kind of, we call it, what should I call it? But we will discuss it later, right? Before that, let me talk about what we called, I just forget about it. You know all this explanatory, descriptive, exploratory, very important thing. The fifth important thing today, it's a preparatory work. Because it's a preparatory work, you must know how to write your research objectives. You know explanatory research, you know descriptive research, you know the exploratory research, right? But when you suppose you are in descriptive research and someone asks you to write objective, what terms you need to use, what statement you need to use. So please take a pic of this. When you have been talking about explanatory research, 1 2 3 4 5, these are different ways to write objectives of explanatory research. Why I'm telling you? Because we have been talking about scientific way of conducting a research. If suppose you are writing about explanatory research and you are mentioning these 4 or 5 features of descriptive research in terms of objectives, the international community will say there is some problem. The research objective shows descriptive, but you have been mentioning explanatory research. So there is some issue. So I request you all, please note down, take a pic of this. So when in future you will be writing your dissertation and you have mentioned explanatory research, this is the right way, these are the right statement to mention about your research, that I am doing explanatory research to analyze, to examine, to explain, to investigate, to evaluate something. Descriptive, to know, to study, to describe, to find out. And if you are going for exploratory research, how you will write your objectives, to understand, to discover, to explore, right? Let me go ahead. Very important thing. You remember last to last slide we have been talking about deductive and inductive research. So those who feel that I am in quantitative research, empirical research, what are the different steps? Here you can see scientific way of conducting a research, that okay, if you are in a quantitative, what you need to do first? Here what is first? Theory. You must know what is theory. Second, research questions, hypothesis, operationalize it, measure it, collection of data, sampling, data collection, data analysis, findings, and finally come back to theory. Theory, why come back to theory? Whether this theory is applicable or not. Now, if suppose you are in qualitative or inductive research, do you think you should have some hypothesis? Let me check. So start with second, research questions, because here you are designing and developing a theory. So research questions, do you have hypothesis? No. Then research questions to data collection to data analysis to finding, and finally go to first, which is theory. So this is the seventh learning today, 7.2 today of preparatory work, right? And how to write objectives, that we have discussed in the last slide. Now, what should be the steps of your research? What should be the first, second, third point of your research in deductive or quantitative and inductive or qualitative research? So if you have any question, we will discuss in later on. Don't worry, I will give you 15 minutes time. Okay. So unit of analysis. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about concept, constructs, and variables. Before I discuss this, let me come back to you. Let me see if you guys have some any understanding of concept, constructs, and variable. If you know the concept or constructs or variable of your research, then your 90% work is done. Don't worry about it. So let me see, can anyone define these two terms, concept and constructs? What is construct? What is concept? Anyone? Or you can put your reflection in your chat box. That will really help me to understand that you know the concept, you know the construct of your research, and variables also of your research. Anyone? Let me see your chat box. Or if you want to unmute your mic, no issue, you can unmute your mic also. Please give response in your chat box, everybody. Concept is your topic. Thank you, Priya. Go ahead, everybody. Let me see if you know this preparatory work, if you know the basics of your research. Concept, what I know, construct, what I do. Oh, great. Oh my God, Monica. Thank you very much, Monica. Thank you very much. Go ahead, everybody. Problem based construct is the operationalized concept. Okay, very good. Sarish, you know a little bit about that. Thank you. Construct is research methodology. No, Supriya, sorry. Construct methodology. Construct is one dimension of research. Sorry, Som. Go ahead, everybody. Let me see if you know the basic things. Construct means steps. Okay, fine. Go ahead, everybody. Go ahead. Okay. Any other idea, anyone? Okay, let me continue then. Build. Okay. Go ahead. Let me see. See, let me define it first conceptually. What is this concept, construct, and variables? um, in a nursery class, when my daughter was in nursery or KG, LKG, uh, her teacher used to tell her that, okay, this is a red color, right? So now when she come back to home and she says that, okay, Papa, this is the red color. So if I say, no, it's not a red color, it's a pink color. So what would be her reply? Will she agree what I'm saying, or she will insist on what her teacher has told her? She will not agree. Yeah, perfectly all right. Because you trust in your teacher. Yeah, thank you very much. So for my daughter, red means red. And when everybody say red means red, right, it's not other color. So it become one dimension. For example, this bottle, right? This is everybody is a water bottle, right? For everyone, it's a water bottle, right? Green color, green remain green for everyone, no matter what kind of reflection has been coated on that. But green remain green, water remain water, red remain red. Similarly, when you see that one thing is remain same for everyone, right? So that is called one dimension, and it is called concept. So there is no issue in red, there is no issue in green, there is no issue in this bottle, there is no issue, okay, it's a cold today, day is very hot today, lecture is not so good today, right? Everybody is saying like this. So this is called concept. Is it clear, everybody? Say yes or no in your chat box. And it would have only one dimension to see. When everybody is saying like this, it means no other argument. Just one dimension to see something. We say, yeah, this particular lecture is not so good. Everybody say like this. Yeah, it's like this. Thank you very much. So this is called concept. If you have been talking about concept which already has been defined, already has been discussed, and everybody know red is red, water is water, green is green, do you think we need to discuss it more? It remained there, everybody knows it, right? You don't need to tell again and again that this is red, this is white, or this is green, right? This is wood, this is fan, this is light. You don't need to reflect on that. But in social science, instead of talking about concept, we talk about constructs. Why so? Let me tell you. In social science, we talk about satisfaction, we talk about motivation, we talk about leadership, we talk about happiness, we talk about all these different things which may not have just one dimension to define that. I hope you agree with me. In social science, whatever terms we have been using, these are not actually the concept, because they all not have one dimension to define it. They have more than one dimensional, they are either two dimensional or multidimensional concept. So multidimensional concepts are called constructs, right? For example, as I say that, okay, how motivated are you to attend this lecture? Do you think people will reflect? All will say, yes, I am highly motivated to attend this lecture. Tell me yes or no. No, right? People may have different opinion, people may have different understanding, they may have different like, dislike. So the motivation among each and everyone, those who are attending this class, will have different kind of opinion, different kind of motive, right? So here, when you have different kind of motive, different kind of understanding, right, it would be very difficult to define it. It would not be a concept, it would be a construct. That's why social science research is very difficult, because here we don't talk about concept, we talk about constructs. Constructs, for example, employees engagement and employees performance, right? Now, how to check employees performance? For example, student performance. We say that student marks will reflect on student performance. Is it the right thing to see the student performance on the basis of their marks? Tell me everybody, yes or no? No. Very good, Afsa Khan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. So there may be different criteria to see the student performance. I have seen a lot of students, they are not able to secure good marks, but in their life they have done a wonder. So here the terms we have been using in social science, most of them are constructs. But one question I raise here, can we measure or calculate these constructs? Tell me. These all constructs, what we have been talking about, job performance, employees performance, employees engagement, happiness, motivation, leadership, these all terms, motivation, can we really measure them? Tell me. These all terms are constructs, and it vary person to person. How do they understand it? How do they see it? Right? So it's very difficult to measure them. Right? It's very difficult to measure them. But as a researcher, this is our duty, this is our responsibility to measure all these terms: happiness, intelligence, motivation, uh, engagement, employees engagement, performance of employees. These all are social terms. These are all our social, what we call social science terms, and these are very difficult. These all are constructs and very difficult to measure, right? But we have one term which is called variables. Variables, with the help of variables we can measure the constructs. We can measure the constructs, right? In So constructs are qualitative, right? But variables are quantitative, right? We can measure it. For example, what is intelligence? Concept, construct, or variable? Tell me everybody. Put in your reply chat box. Let me see. Construct. Balvinder say construct. Okay. Afza say construct. Thank you. Monica say construct. Ravi Verma say variable. Oh my god, great. Priju say construct. Everybody, let me see if you all are with me. Suha Toradmal say construct. Thank you. Go ahead, everybody, because I can see 80 participants right now. Neha say construct. Alka say Manjiri construct. Thank you very much. Okay. Constructs. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. 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 Okay. Great. 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 Okay. I can see your reflection. Everybody, please. I can see still a lot of people are there haven't responded. Please, everybody, response to it. So, intelligence is a construct. Can we measure intelligence? Yes or no? Please tell me, everybody. Can we measure intelligence? Okay, thank you. And how we can measure it? Do we have some variable? Tell me which variable I am talking about to measure the intelligence. Thank you, Balvinder ji. IQ test is there, and IQ test is a measure to measure the intelligence, and with the IQ it's a quantitative measurement. Thank you. Now it's clear, I believe. Concepts, constructs, and variables. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Now I hope things are clear to all of you. All preparatory work, now you are ready. You are ready with your variable, you are ready with your construct, you know the concept, you know the theory, right? You know a lot of things now. Basic things you are ready to start with. You know your preparatory work. Before you I invite you for discussion or for your questions. let me show you a few more things, then I will invite you for discussion. Right. So because we wanted to put some light on hypothesis also, let me, okay, so concept here, um I'm not going to discuss because already I have given an example. Here you can see weight of a person, height of a person. You go to any place, weight will remain weight, height will remain height, right? uh, so weight is one dimension, right? Now let me go ahead and see what other things we have been talking about. So here, communication may be vocabulary, maybe spelling, maybe syntax, a lot of things. So it would be a construct, right? Assent also. Now the difference between hypothesis and proposition, last thing, because if I don't cover it, something would left, and I need to cover it also. So now you know the construct, you know the variable also, right? Construct, intelligence, variable, IQ, you know that. So what would be the hypothesis? You can see hypothesis here down, empirical plane. Hypothesis is a relationship between variables, not constructs. Can you see this? So hypothesis is relationship between variable, and what is the role of variable? To measure the constructs. So this is quantitative terms, empirical terms you can calculate. Let's go ahead. Conceptual. Constructs are conceptual, right? So relationship between construct is called proposition. Relationship between constructs called proposition. Relation between variable is called hypothesis. Because this is to calculate quantitative. This is basically a terms which we define qualitatively, right? So we have discussed hypothesis and proposition also. So a lot of work we have done today. Thank you very much for joining today, because this was something I can continue with this for next 2 hours, because we can dig more about construct, variable, different kind of variable, different kind of constructs, moderator, mediator, a lot of things are there, but we have very limited time. So what I will do, thank you very much for joining today, and let me take some query we can discuss. I hope we have some time, and thank you very much for joining, and we'll continue in the next class.